प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य माणिस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May my speech be firmly established in my mind. May the mind too be firmly established in my speech. O self-effulgent Lord, be revealed in my consciousness. May the truths of the scriptures come in my life. May not what I learn from them ever forsake me. Let me lead my life day and night according to their teachings. I shall speak what is appropriate. I shall speak the truth. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Let us feel our intrinsic divine nature. Which is beyond all limitations of body and mind. It is all pervading, ever perfect and blissful. Let us feel it as a steadily burning candle flame in our heart, and let us meditate on that. As I meditate on it, I see the radiance of the flame has filled my whole body, my whole being. My whole consciousness, this whole universe. There is no difference There is no time or space. All is the eternal, conscious, ever free, ever blissful existence itself. I am that. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin today's study of this great biography of Sri Ramakrishna, originally written in Bengali by one of the very dear disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Saradananda. And this translation is done by Swami Chetanananda, and the title he gave is Sri Ramakrishna and His Divine Play. And we have been seeing how Sri Ramakrishna taught people. This is the chapter in his that volume called Guru Bhava, Sri Ramakrishna as the teacher, and this volume itself has two parts. This one is the part second, where he is coming in contact with many who are coming there. They are mendicants, they are spiritual seekers, and they are on their way to some pilgrimage place, or are just wandering around there. So, he told about some Vedantic, those mendicants, Vedantic monastics who were staying there for some time, and then came these Vaishnava Vaishnava sadhakas or Vaishnava devotees, and the story of one of them is being told as an illustrative sample. His name was Jatadhari, was called Babaji, and he had what we would see as an idol of child Rama. But for him that was not an idol or an image made of metal. For external appearance it was made of metal, but for that Babaji it was a conscious living little Rama that he was worshipping. He had absolutely no doubt about it. His vision was different. So, and Sri Ramakrishna shared his vision. Sri Ramakrishna also saw that it is child Rama. And then as it transpired, Sri Ramakrishna also got very much into love and adoration of the God in the form of this child Rama. And this Rama, as he saw, was very much attracted to him. he was in fact getting more attracted to Sri Ramakrishna than to this Jatadhari Babaji, and wanted to stay with Sri Ramakrishna. The descriptions are just amazing. It is, as we read it, we see that as if it is what we would call a little child, a playful little child, and is getting more attracted to Sri Ramakrishna than his loving father, that Babaji. So, and Babaji recognized that, and so when he was about to leave the place Dakshineshwar where Sri Ramakrishna was staying, he said, well, it seems that this Ram Lala likes to be more with you than with me, and so I am leaving him with you. And so, saying that, he bid a tearful adieu to Ram Lala and went on his way. Ram Lala remained thus with Sri Ramakrishna. And as Sri Ramakrishna was describing all this to his disciples, the author himself amongst them, Swami Saradananda was amongst them. He, at that time, this image of Ram Lala was still in Sri Ramakrishna's room. Later on it got stolen. This image, somebody stole away, and so it is no more found. But at that time, when Swami Saradananda was visiting Sri Ramakrishna as a young college-going boy, his name was then Sharat, and this, as he said, I also saw that image, thinking that I will also find that same presence of Lord Rama in it. But no, I could not see anything. I just saw an image of metal, that's all. Nothing more could be seen. And he describes, and when we concluded our last Tuesday's class, we were in the midst of discussion about why do we not see that. Was Sri Ramakrishna's seeing that as Ram Lala an imagination? And so a discussion about what is imagination, something that we see, we think that we see in our mind, and we actually feel we see it, but that seeing is not shared by others. Then the others call it as imagination. And we also, when we come back to another plane, like these other people, we also do not see it. So we also conclude, oh, forget it, it was my imagination. But what is this world after all? Isn't it imagination? It is something that our sense organs, they because of their interaction, according to how these sense organs are made, how our brain works, and how our mind projects what is called time and space. It is all creation of mind, nothing more than that. But because most of us, we have our minds dwelling on the same plane, we do not consider that as imagination. Actually, it is no more than imagination. Just as our perception in dream, it is imagination that we discover as imagination only after we wake up. Till then, It was very real. Like in dream I saw, it was a scary dream. In that dream I saw that I lost my cell phone. What a problem, that without cell phone, how can you live these days? So I felt a big scare. Oh, my phone is lost now, what will happen? And so it was at that time very real. I was looking for it here, there, everywhere. It is only when I woke up from that dream, then I was in an alternate reality, where now the cell phone is available to me, but in the other, now which one is real? When I was in one state, that was real. Now when I am in another state, this is real. When I am dreaming, this is unreal, and that is real. So our understanding of what is imagination is just dependent on what stage of awareness we are. Now Sri Ramakrishna could actually see everything as Chinmaya, full of consciousness. He didn't see anything merely matter. Everything is imbued with the same consciousness, same living. Everything is alive for him. And so we wonder, how is it? Because we are glued to our materialistic understanding, and as we learn more of science and engineering, I don't say we should not, but when do we do that and we think that we know everything, and wow, then whatever is not certified by science has to be false. It is, we don't think there that what science says today, tomorrow's science falsify it. What was considered as true by science 500 years ago is not considered true anymore. So it is not that it brings us the ultimate truth, not at all. But now we stopped that discussion last time because our time was over. We shall continue on page 576. It is, we will read a paragraph that we had read earlier just for continuation on page 576. Swami Saradananda describes, "We were dumbfounded when we heard these stories about Ram Lala. We would look timidly at the image of Ram Lala, hoping to see his living presence, but we did not, because we were ignorant, bound souls. How could we see him as living? We did not have the Master's devotion to Ram Lala. Our love for Ramachandra was not intense enough. We had not developed the spiritual insight that the Master had, so we could not see the living Ram Lala. We saw only a small image and thought, could what the Master said really have happened? Is it possible? We encounter this kind of doubt in every aspect of our life, and we are satisfied with our basket full of disbelief. Look, the omniscient rishis say, Sarvam khaluidam brahma neha nasti kinchana. All this is Brahman, there is no diversity in it. So, everything and everyone we see around us does not actually exist. That could be, we think, but when we look at this world, we do not see even a little trace of Brahman, the one without second. We see only wood, earth, houses, and doors, people, cows, and so forth. Or at most we see the vast blue sky plunged with the stars and the white snow-capped peaks of the yellow-green mountain, arrogantly attempting to touch it. So he describes this, all that we see, we do not see the one Brahman pervading all, everything. We get caught in the names and forms, like the babies when they are given animal crackers. Just think of this example, we have used this many times, that they see the form and see that this is a giraffe. Those things are very good for children to make them aware of the different shapes of different animals. That it is, this is giraffe, this is dog, this is a cat, this is something different, this is fish. Now the baby thinks those shapes to be real. When the baby grows up a little bit, then sees that all are really the same one thing. There is no distinction. Here also we should see that although we are all different just in shapes, the material is actually not different at all. Even from just the physical standpoint, we can see the same fundamental particles make everything around us, including the air that seemingly is separating it. Everything is just the same thing, differently heaped, that's all, different shapes. There is no difference, but we see the difference because we have not, spiritually, we have not come out of our babyhood. We are spiritual babies. Swami Vivekananda sometimes has addressed us like that, spiritual babies. Because that is the status, that is how we just think that these different forms are real. We do not see, we see the difference, not the sameness within each of us. That is why our whole perception and the actions based on that perception are related just to this difference. I and you, I and the world. And we run after what gets called world. And if somebody is not doing it because seeing the same one reality, we say that that is imagination of that person. That is hallucination. Sri Ramakrishna is seeing that, well, it is same. So many times he has described his realization, that how he says that I look all the different beings as the different pillow covers. Inside them is all, like in all pillows, the same cotton is there. So I see all different pillowcases, different shapes, that's all. Inside the same one divine reality is manifesting. So this is how Sri Ramakrishna's vision is. We can understand it maybe intellectually to some extent, but we don't experience it, because experience of those truths require purity, growing spiritually. Our attraction towards the worldly things, and thus we keep on running after them. We don't have time to think of the deeper realities of life. When we dwell on those, these truths start coming in our experience. It is just matter of knowledge. That is how the great Kathopanishad ends. It says that the teacher, the death, Yama, he taught the student Nachiketa, a young boy. And this young boy, by imbibing those teachings, went beyond all limitations and got unified with Brahman, the ultimate ever blissful reality. He got united with it. He says that Brahma Prapto Mrityu Prokta Nachiketo Thalabdha. Beautiful words, Mrityu Prokta, taught by Mrityu, and Nachiketo Athalabdhva. Nachiketa is the receiver. What happened then? When you get knowledge, what happens? If you really get it within, then your behavior changes. Like we got the knowledge that there is coronavirus and it can infect us. See, our behavior changed. We otherwise had 140 chairs here. So we decided that let there be social distancing. And so we kept only about 30 chairs around here so that people can sit separately. Also, everybody should be putting on the face mask. There is hand sanitizer. Somebody asks, well, are you okay? And so forth. It is all this is high because our knowledge changed, accordingly our behavior changed. So when our knowledge changes that I am not this limited body, it is true, isn't it, Vitthal? We are not this little body. And so I am not subject to birth and death, because it is body alone that is subject to birth and death. I am not that. And so you can start seeing that I am all pervading, ever perfect, ever blissful truth. So the Upanishad says there that look, Nachiketa learned, and what happened? Thus all the impurities were gone. Brahma prapto virajo abhud vimrityu, went beyond death, having cleansed all impurities that were coming in our life due to ignorance. And thus, and then there comes the master stroke there. Anyopyevam yo vidadhyatmam eva. Anybody else who gets this knowledge will also have the same benefit. That is the great efficacy of knowledge. Anyone who gets that knowledge will have the same benefit. Like somebody told me that, well, at that such and such place, you can get these groceries in big packets and cheaper. So this knowledge, when we got it, then we went there and then got the same benefit that the other people were getting. It is so exactly this happened to Nachiketa. And when we get this knowledge, then yes, we also will get the same benefit. Yes, Yona, you also will get the same realization. No different. That is how the knowledge changes the life. If the knowledge seeps deep enough, if it is only here, it won't have much effect. Why our life does not get changed even after reading and understanding these great teachings? Because that teaching remains only in the intellect. It does not percolate it to our heart. When it percolates to our heart, we become really blissful. It is, our life completely becomes so full of joy and I have seen so many such examples, friends, that it is a practical something that is very, very real. When somebody gets this wisdom, the life changes from the life of suffering, life of bondage, to life of freedom and life of a very special bliss. That bliss is very special in the sense it doesn't depend on what happens out there or my contact with other objects. No. It is otherwise my joys depend on who wins the football game, isn't it, Vittu? That now when you get this joy from within, it doesn't matter what is outside. Your joy is within your control. If your joy is controlled by, say, somebody, how my friend behaves with me, then you have no control over it. So, when you realize the truth, then see Sri Ramakrishna's life. It may be he is suffering from very bad dysentery or cancer or whatever. He was always full of bliss. This is, and why? You can also become like that. Everybody can become like that by the knowledge that this is all pervaded with the one blissful reality. I am that. So, and that is practice of religion. As it is written there, Swami Vivekananda's great statement, religion is the manifestation of divinity already in us. So, that is what is to be done. We say that it is, the rishis may tell us, look, we are not drug addicts. You will understand what we say if you can make your minds one-pointed and calm by practicing self-control and purity in body, mind and speech. You will see that this world is a manifestation of your intensely held ideas. There is diversity inside you, so you see the diversity outside. Inside diversity, outside also diversity. There is that story that one man was looking through telescope to various heavenly bodies, and then some of his friends, they were all learned, these astronomy students. So he called them, hey, look, something terrible is happening on the moon. I am seeing all these different lines that were not there. See, so many lines and this big mark there. What is this? And then they saw, one of them said, oh yes, I will see that all that happening in the moon goes away right now. And he just wiped the lens of the telescope. That lens had some dust accumulated, and so it was looking all that outside. Inside we have here all problems, so we see them all outside as well. It is exactly, friends. There is don't think that this is just some some person telling to convince you of what is not real. It is something very real. There is no cheating going on. It is very, very true and real, friends. So, we respond to the rishis, revered sir. We do not have enough time to think about all these things. We are busy earning our livelihoods and we are tormented by our senses. Or we may say, sirs, if you gave us a list of things to be done to realize Brahman, it would not be possible to accomplish them within a few days, months, or years. It is even doubtful that we could achieve them in one lifetime. If we listen to your advice and engage ourselves, but do not have the vision of Brahman, we shall believe that the attainment of infinite bliss is an illusion. We shall fall between the two stools. It is one wanted to jump from one to another, but then the jump was not long enough, so I fell in between. And many share this fear that, oh, all this spiritual practice takes a long time and maybe I will not be able to accomplish anything. And in the meantime, because I am practicing spiritual these disciplines, I will lose the pleasures that I could otherwise get here. So, therefore, it is useless because I will lose this as well as that. It is at least let me have the pleasures here, howsoever temporary they are. Let me hold on to those. That is how many people think, that it is where, we are after all not born saints. So it is, these things are not for us. For some rare people, they could see that we are ordinary people in this world. All those great truths, I don't say they are wrong, but not for us. Okay, well, what can be done? It is, the scientist tells us, I can use my instruments to show you that an all-pervading energy exists uniformly in brick and wood, gold and silver, trees and plants, people and cattle, and is manifesting itself variously. We also witness the vibration of energy in everything and in every being. To this we say, bravo, your intellectual range is wide indeed. But what can be achieved with that knowledge? Long ago, the rishis who authored the scriptures told us that it is wonderful that you have demonstrated it. Can you tell us that it will add to our pleasure? Yes. Our acceptance depends on how much pleasure it can bring to us. If it is going to bring us pleasure, okay, then we can go for it. It is, and the scientist says, oh yes, we can bring lot of pleasure in your life, so many comforts. Yes, friends, so many comforts. We can be discussing all these things and reach in this pandemic a lot more audience than which could be accommodated here. How? The development of science, finding a communication link in everything. So you can be anywhere, but can be connected. It is all this and many more things are possible. And the life can become more comfortable through all these. But then with that also, the increases other problems. because this is the world is like that. Everywhere there is a kind of trade-off. If you want this development, then there will be pollution, there will be all problems arising from this so-called development. All these will be there. One thing leads to another. So, but scientists do say, yeah, see, we can kill hundreds of thousands of people with our modern new weapons. Earlier, people used to fight with only sticks and then maybe with swords. Now, we have these big bombs and machine guns and explosives, that's it. You know, thousands or hundreds of thousands of people can be killed. So we can kill our enemies and thus rejoice in our victory. See, science has made all this possible. And so we ask scientists thus that do we get more pleasures by following science? Can we get more? Scientists say, of course. They say, so be it, so be it, let it be like this, develop it. But the rishis could not say, so be it. It reads further that, but the rishis, teachers of the path of knowledge, could not encourage worldly enjoyments by saying, so be it. So a tremendous commotion ensued in the religious world. The rishis were forced to live in the forest with a few all-renouncing followers, far from the bustle of the world. Of course, in the field of religion, the compromising so be it attitude does have precedence in Indian religion. Remember that in the latter part of the Buddhist age, the Tantrika Kapalikas taught how to use magical rites to subdue, distract, torture or kill others. There are all these pseudo-religious practices that did go on even in the field of religion, because human mind, as it practices religion, also is seeking the worldly pleasures, and the two get mixed up very quickly without even our knowing that we are mixing them. So, it is like the yogic practices. Immediately we see, well, what the health benefits will come by that. It is how much my blood pressure will reduce, and will I be able to live long by practicing these yoga asanas. Well, yes, they are there, but that is only kind of byproduct. Like keeping a cow to get milk. Yes, for milk you have the cow, but then also the cow dung has some utility. And so the cow dung is a byproduct, that's true. So your physical health and all that is a byproduct. What is more important is that you learn to transcend the limitations of body. So that is how these things get mixed up. We go for only the possible physical benefits, and not only that, we think that that is the yoga. In this modern world, especially in the Western countries, the yoga is interpreted just like that. Yoga means doing some physical postures and so forth. Even in religion, how to get your money doubled. And I thought that such superstitions are there only in India. And no, they do not. They are equally, if not more, rampant in United States also. So many people do such things, calling that spiritual or religious. But what actually religious and spiritual means? Learning to transcend our limitations, what is called mukti or liberation. We are bound by the ego, our body. Get beyond that, and that will illumine us, liberate us. So this is what is mentioned there. So, Saradananda Swami concludes after giving many examples of this, that how is it possible for us to advocate enjoyment, saying, so be it? Like worldly people, we have started to tell the story of a master so otherworldly that the spirit of renunciation was embedded deeply in his mind. And this renunciation is a very joyous thing actually. It is not a painful thing at all. What is to be renounced? And nothing that is of value is to be renounced. Only the garbage is to be renounced. And that's about it. We do not have to renounce anything that is valuable. Only that which anyway is going to go away, give it up. It is a mental giving up. That it is a flux, it comes and goes, you can't hold on to it. Our attachments to that only brings misery and suffering in life. Therefore, what is called renunciation is not something painful. People get this feeling. I told you that story. I was actually talking to that Swami this morning on phone. So, when I went to India, he invited me that I should give a speech at their center. And I said, of course. And he said, please give me a topic. Said me, what topic would you be speaking on so that we will advertise it. And I said to him, the topic I gave was renunciation in a householder's life. Now, I thought, it is a nice topic. But he said, oh, please change the title, because people, when they will read the topic, you speak, of course, whatever you want to speak, fine. But if you give this title, then nobody will come, because people are so scared of renunciation, so don't say that. He said, well, if fewer people come, that's fine, no problem. And he said, okay, it is, but lot of people came anyway. It is, the point is, we do not want to hear about renunciation thinking that it will be difficult and painful. It is very simple, and it is so relieving. What we have to give up is only that it is like somebody is holding a hot iron ball and burning the fingers. Now, hey, throw it down so that your fingers will not get burnt like this. That is the only reason that you are getting burnt. Put it down. Now, will that person or should that person say, no, it is such a nice hot iron ball, looks so nice red and all that. Oh, you fool, that is, you are getting burned because of that. So, therefore, this world is like that. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, what is this, our worldly enjoyment, what we call, what is it? He used to give the beautiful analogy of a fruit that is found there called amda. It is like a green mango, but with a very thick skin and a big pit. So he said, what is this amda? Athiyar chamda. Only skin and pit. And then in between there is something sticking, some meat is sticking in between, very sour. If you eat it, you get a stomach colic. Khele amlashul. Athiyar chamda and khele abar amlashul. So it is amlashul. It is the stomach acidic colic would be there. So this is the worldly enjoyment. Nothing more than that. A big covering that you have to discard, a big pit that you have to discard, and some semblance of pleasure that when you go and have it, it creates a lot of pain. So that is it, friends. There is actually, had there been really pleasure, it would have been nice. But the pleasure is only in the name and in waiting. Tomorrow the pleasure will come. We keep on thinking about it, the life gets spent. It is difficult for the young people to believe it. It is, I have told it several times, that story that Swami used to describe very nicely, that he described that the young age means now the life is still there. It is like a train that is running, the station is far away, the route is clear, so the steam is going on full throttle, steam or whatever other, at that time the propellant used to be, it used to be the steam engines. Anyway, so it is going full throttle, fast. And then when the old age comes, people get a feeling that now we have to stop. The station is approaching and the life is not going to last too long. Already the signs are there, the teeth have given way, the limbs have lost strength, so many diseases have made entry in the body. So you know that the station is not too far. Now he used to describe, when the train is going full throttle, it makes a sound, one sound. When the brakes are applied as the train approaches the station, it makes different sound. Like when it is running fast, tick 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 tick. When the brakes are applied, tok 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 tok. So in the younger days, you think, tick 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 tick. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. When the old age sets in, the sound changes. You say, I thought I could. I thought I could. It is, yeah, friends. It is. We keep on hoping tomorrow will be the day when all my dreams will come true. No, they still are far away. We realize it, that our running after getting happiness in this world is like running to catch the horizon. But we do not see this. We say that tomorrow, after I do my high school, then my parents will not have the chance to scold me. Now they keep on tabs on everything I do. But when I go to college, I will have my freedom. So I will be so happy. Then you see, no, but I have to earn money. When I get a big paying job, then the happiness will be there. It keeps on going forward, 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 like catching horizon, exactly like that. So therefore, the sages say, don't go after that. Have no such compromising attitude. That there is no pleasure in the world, friends. The pleasure or happiness or bliss, they are different levels. That is only in realizing that I am actually bliss. I am bliss. There is nothing that is in the outside that I have to add to me to become blissful. I am bliss. A great saint in Maharashtra says that what the sugar has to add to it to become sweet, sugar doesn't need to add anything to it. In fact, when we want to make something sweet, we add sugar to it. Nothing needs to be added to sugar to make it sweet. So nothing is needed by us to make ourselves happy. Do you get it, Naomi? Exactly. Yeah. So that is the way that the sages have taught. And therefore, when we get those teachings and make our personality seeped into in that teaching, then we will be also able to see that everything is pulsating with the same life. Then it is possible. He says there that it is that, O worldly human beings, we shall conclude this part by just reading this. It is on page 579. O worldly human beings, we knew beforehand that when we discussed this unusual master, that is Sri Ramakrishna, we would have to endure criticism and reproach. And we know that you will not hesitate to slander his divine character if a simple-hearted soul among your friends and family becomes attracted to this unique person because of our words and tries to renounce home and worldly enjoyment. But what can we do? We have undertaken this project and we cannot discontinue it or try to hide the truth even partially. We must narrate what we know to be the truth, or we will have no peace. It is as if someone were forcing us to speak out. O reader, let us narrate, as far as we know, the story of this extraordinary God-man. You may accept as much as you can digest. That is how it has been narrated. That take as much as you can accept. You can digest. Yeah, it is. So we shall conclude here. We will meditate on this for 30 seconds. Then if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Any question?
Yes, Swamiji, there are a couple of web questions. The first one is from Tushar Puranik.
Yes.
Swami Saradananda mentioned elsewhere that he has not mentioned anything in his biography that he has not experienced. He said that he did not see Ramlala alive.
Yeah.
Did he have other similar experiences that are known? What are these experiences?
Well, he has described everything that he has experienced. But he therefore says that I am narrating what Sri Ramakrishna has been telling. So that is the narration of Sri Ramakrishna. He has many such experiences, like Sri Ramakrishna. He saw that he is seeing the image of Mother Kali as alive. But he didn't see the image as alive at that time. He actually saw Sri Ramakrishna narrating. He and many others of the disciples saw Sri Ramakrishna would find it just impossible to touch money. It is, even though he didn't know, still he was not possible to touch it. So it is all that he experienced. He also experienced doing this same sadhana, the ultimate realization that Sri Ramakrishna had. So therefore he says that he has not written anything in this book that he has not experienced. So that is the meaning of it, that he has experienced so many things. Not that all things are narrated, but once in Saradananda's biography this incident comes. Somebody asked him that, well, did you ever have samadhi? And Saradananda a bit humorously asked back that, do you think in Dakshineshwar I was only cutting the grass there? So means all those experiences got communicated to him too. Yes, thank you, Tushar.
The next question is from Hima Bindu. Pranam Pujya Swamiji. Why Guru Maharaj took terrible suffering?
Well, he didn't take suffering as such. For him it was not suffering. We see that as if he is suffering. He didn't take it up as suffering, but to relieve all the devotees coming to him of their sufferings, he took it away from them. So it appeared as if he has taken up those sufferings. He took the disease and the pain, yes, that is true, but that was not suffering as such for him. It is because he was not having identification with body. So the body was not I, that was his awareness. So body had this suffering, he didn't have any suffering. Just as if the clothing is torn, I don't consider that I am torn. I am fine, this cloth is torn, that's all. So that is how Sri Ramakrishna didn't have any suffering. But since other people, the devotees coming to him, they were identified with bodies and they were suffering from various problems. Sri Ramakrishna did take their sufferings. Yeah.
Another question from Hima Bindu. Pujya Swamiji, is it possible to remain happy when one is in need of survival, basic needs also?
Yes. It is possible to remain happy even in these conditions, but provided we have that knowledge that I am not body, then in spite of these being deprived of some necessities or what we call necessities of life, even when we are deprived of them, one can remain happy. Actually, I have seen many who were financially speaking very poor. It was very difficult for them to make two ends meet. Many times they could not. But they were still very happy because they were doing their prayers and meditations and all that. It is wonderful to see that people do not get happy because of the material things that they have. It is even if you don't have them, you can become equally happy, if not more. Yeah.
That's also.
Any question here? So we shall conclude with the closing prayers. On coming Friday, because of the this New Year Day, Kalpataru Day program and Holy Mother's birthday program from 11 to 1 a.m., which will be broadcast online. The in-person attendance is already full, friends. Sorry, nobody. Already we have all these seats filled. So we don't want to add anybody to that. Now we cannot. So, but it is available online. All the worship will be shown online, worship readings on our YouTube channel. You can see that. And because of that, there will be no evening class on that day. The Friday evening class will not be there. The class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, stories from Srimad Bhagavatam, will not be there on that Friday. Let us conclude with the closing prayers. Oh, now I realize I forgot doing the opening prayer today. Doesn't matter. No, now we will do the closing prayer and think that opening prayer also was included in that. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.